Morally, it doesn't feel right to try to scare people into getting our products, right? I just don't feel like that's a healthy relationship with our customer base. We want to build a healthy relationship. We want our customers to trust us. We want to bring them products that they want and they continue to want. We want to make them feel better, not worse. So there are a lot of products that use those scare tactics. I would say 99% of the products out there, unfortunately, are snake oil. I might get some flack for even mentioning this, but like stickers, pendants, for example, in our opinion, in our kind of analysis, the research we've looked at, they can spin it a million different ways to say that it's protecting you in a way that they can kind of test in a lab, but not really. But as engineers, myself and my partner, we just don't believe that that's an effective way of blocking this radiation. And I mean, if you think about it, even not as an engineer, it's not really intuitive. How can you put a sticker on your phone, like a hologram or something, that's gonna reconfigure the radiation in a way that now it's harmless?
We are Gold Ivy. Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth. Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places. Those hard places are what creates space for light to shine through. You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold. This is Ivy Unleashed, a Gold Ivy production. Let's talk about something foundational to your family's health that you might not even realize is an issue. Your cookware and bakeware. That's right. We've all heard about clean eating, but what about clean cooking? For years, we've been told nonstick is the way to go for easy cleanup, but what if that convenience comes at a cost to your health? Exactly. Our friends at Caraway have an origin story that really hit home for us. Their founder, Jordan Nathan, experienced what's called Teflon flu after accidentally overheating a traditional nonstick pan. It turns out it only takes 2.5 minutes for those pans to hit 500 degrees Fahrenheit and start releasing toxic chemicals. And the problem is these aren't just any chemicals. We're talking about PTFE, also known as Teflon, and microplastics that can leach directly into your food that you're preparing for your family. These are forever chemicals, folks. They enter the body and can take decades to leave, potentially leading to serious health risks like cancer or respiratory issues. Reading the research from the American Cancer Society and Good Housekeeping Institute was a wake-up call to realize what might be hiding in our kitchens. And that's where Caraway comes in. They're on a mission to craft well-designed home goods that truly raise the standards of what you cook with. They've meticulously thought through every single detail, from the unboxing experience to how their products store in your home. The look, the feel. We're in a season where less is more. It's better for your health. It's better to look at. You've seen Caraway everywhere, and it's for a reason. I went with the squareware and cookware set. Not only is it beautiful, but the relief I feel knowing the daily pancakes, pasta, and protein I'm heating up isn't causing harm to my kiddos is priceless. Caraway has revolutionized kitchenware by offering a non-stick ceramic coating that's mineral-based. That means no toxic materials leaching into your healthy ingredients. It's easy to use, easy to clean, and you don't have to worry about those forever chemicals. So if you're ready to remove harmful microplastics and toxic chemicals from your family's meals and truly elevate your cooking experience, it's time to switch to Caraway. Head over to their website today. You can find the link in our show notes. And for a special thank you to our listeners, use code GOLDIVY at checkout for 10% off your Caraway products. Make the switch for a healthier you and a healthier home. Who wants to know what I discovered that's an absolute game changer with my hormones, stress level, and quality of my sleep? I am not one to talk about supplements, but after learning all about magnesium, I have to fill you in. In May of last year, I tested my hormones and my doctor explained to me that most women are deficient in magnesium, how important magnesium is, and how the brand of magnesium matters. First, magnesium is involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions in your body. Cortisol regulation, take magnesium. Better sleep, magnesium. Muscle soreness and recovery, magnesium. Combat depression and anxiety, magnesium. The list of magnesium's benefits go well beyond those examples. I asked for the best brand of magnesium and my doctor said hands down, Smidge. She prefers Smidge because it's super clean and made in small batches. No fillers or common allergens, and non-GMO. Smidge's magnesium is made with a premium form of magnesium called glycinate complex. After taking the 100 milligram capsule of Smidge Evening Magnesium every night for just a week, I noticed how much better I felt in the morning. Melatonin and other sleep aids can make me groggy or give me weird dreams. Smidge's magnesium has improved my energy levels, reduced my anxiety, and my digestive health has never been better. I do my best to take it every single night to keep reaping all the benefits. I'm telling you, Smidge Magnesium is a game changer. The majority of adult women are deficient in magnesium, and we don't want you to be one of them. To experience the health benefits of Smidge Evening Magnesium as soon as possible, go to getsmidge.com or find the link in the show notes and be sure to use code GOLDIV10 for a 10% discount. That's getsmidge.com and code GOLDIV10 at checkout, and let us know how great Smidge Magnesium makes you feel as well. And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are really excited today because Brooke and I have been looking for some radiation protection and we found it and we need to talk about it. And we finally have someone here. We are so excited to welcome Cary Subel to Ivy Unleashed.
Thank you for having me.
Cary is one of the founders of SafeSleeve, and you've been seeing, we've been posting about this because I had some fear. I had some feelings of my kids that have iPads. We go on road trips. They sit on their laps. The Bluetooth, my daughter always wants to have AirPods in her ears. And I just my gut was telling me to do something about it. So I started digging into research and reading about it. And I was like, and we don't want to scare everyone. So that's how we want to start this episode is kind of saying we're not trying to scare you because health can be so overwhelming. Everything's going to kill you. Everything is bad for you. All of this. That's not what we're trying to do today. What we're trying to do is get some education about EMF radiation and some simple things we can do, some simple swaps to kind of protect ourselves, protect our kids. And so thank you, Cary, for being here to talk us through what EMF radiation is and kind of just high level. Can you tell our listeners what it is and kind of how you started SafeSleeve to help protect people from this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start by saying that you pretty much nailed our ethos. We started this brand, it was myself and my partner. We were studying engineering at college at the time. And we were using our laptops on our lap. And we were just, too many people were telling us you shouldn't do that. And credible sources, right? The radiation, the heat exposure. And to be honest, I'm in college. It's not the first thing I'm thinking of. It's not really even the 10th thing I'm thinking of is something that could affect my health later on, right? But I will say it just stuck in my mind. And every time, it's called a laptop. Naturally, you're going to use it on your lap, especially in college. You're going to the library, you're going to the lecture hall. And it just stuck in my mind. And every time I tried to use my laptop, I couldn't get it out of my brain. I found myself trying to use a cushion or put it, as far away as possible. And I thought to myself, there's got to be something I can put under my laptop to just give me some peace of mind. Just redirect the radiation away, a shielding material. When I go to the dentist and I get an x-ray, I wear the lead vest, right? Mm-hmm. It's not removing the x-ray. It's not making it, ineffective. It's still effective, but it's giving you a whole other level of protection that you wouldn't otherwise have, which is exactly kind of where the idea was born for SafeSleeve. It started with the laptop product, originally our laptop case. And the idea behind it was, let's make something that can give you that protection, that peace of mind that doesn't interfere with the use of your devices, because as we all know, that's how the world operates now, right? I mean, there's a very fortunate and maybe to some unfortunate few who don't require technology to operate, to do their work, to do, whatever it is they're passionate about, to survive. Other than them, the other 99%, we need to use this technology. So why not use it in a way that's a little bit safer? It's stylish, it's multifunctional, it's practical, and just bring that protection to the masses. So I think the laptop case really encapsulates what we're all about, not just because it's our first product, but because it really embodies our multifunctionality approach and making it practical. So it's a case first and foremost, because typically when you have your laptop, you have your case with you, right? You're on the go. And then when you're using the case, just like what we saw in college, people would take the laptop out of their case, put it on top of the case. Most of the time it's just like a neoprene soft case. And they'd put it underneath there because you need to put the case somewhere while you're using the laptop. So I kind of thought to myself, well, let's optimize that case to be actually like a workstation, work lap desk, and have the shielding material inside it. And what I found was those neoprene cases that you put under your laptop, not only are they not doing anything to block the radiation whatsoever, by the way, most metals, plastic, wood, that's also not going to block this type of radiation. If you think about it, it's designed to penetrate as many surfaces as possible so that I can be in this building right now and still get reception. Um, and surfaces also means flesh, bone, muscle, right? So the idea was make this rigid so that A, it's also allowing airflow to your laptop. It doesn't have to work harder, therefore emitting more radiation. Um, and also incorporate a shielding technology. So we had to basically search high and wide, customize some designs. The tiniest little trace elements and the way the shielding material was made completely affected how it shielded this type of radiation, which is EMF radiation. Um, and a very long story short, that's what led to our first product. And I think we've carried out that ethos since the very beginning, which is making it practical, making it effective, most importantly, you know, getting lab testing and publishing that lab testing. So it's directly on our website, the report from a third party FCC accredited lab, making it visible to our customers. So providing transparency. And I think that's carried through to just about every other product we have.
Yeah, I love the laptop case because it is sturdy. Like I put it on my lap. I feel like exactly like you said, it's a little station. The top flap opens and it's a mouse pad. Like you've really thought of it all. I feel like it only adds to the experience versus, okay, now I have to get something that's going to help with the radiation. It takes away. It's annoying. It's bulky. It's like, no, this looks very high quality. It is very clean and simple, yet I feel peace of mind using it. So that's my experience with the case. I do want to hit home just the radiation piece. Like, why do people need to care? When you think about EMF, like, will you explain what it is? I know there's so many studies. Children are more at risk. There's some studies with rats. Like, will you just touch on that of why people need to care?
Definitely. So EMF radiation, you can think of it like a spectrum. It stands for electromagnetic fields, also known as electromagnetic radiation. Any electronic device emits EMF radiation. Wireless devices emit different types of EMF radiation that are on the same spectrum. And that spectrum ranges everywhere from visible light all the way up to gamma rays, X rays, ultraviolet, the things that we know um, will cause cancer, right? Not only will cause cancer, can cause all sorts of other issues because they can cause DNA fragmentation, basically. So somewhere in the middle of that spectrum is what your cell phone, your laptop, your tablet emits, your Wi-Fi router. And it gets a little bit more complicated how those are broken down specifically, but basically you have the electronic devices themselves. So the processor, the chip, the your storage, your whether it's solid state storage or like a hard disk, your battery that emits one type of radiation, your power supply. And then there's the wireless frequencies. So that's typically like the RF frequencies, which a lot of people have heard of. So a lot of the research says is that some of that middle ground, while it's not an X-ray, it doesn't have as much power as an X-ray, an ultraviolet ray. The constant exposure is enough to cause interference with these electrons in your body that can cause issues with your DNA and therefore lead to things like concerns about cancer, Alzheimer's, infertility is another concern, and that they've been able to isolate just the radiation aspect, not just the heat, because that's obviously a concern with the laptop as well. And people like to say, oh, well, that's just from the heat. That's why we're causing infertility. But no, they've been able to isolate it, test it, and there's a lot of research that says that can have an effect on fertility. So yeah, just like I want to wear a lead vest when I get an X-ray, and that's a snapshot. This is a lot less powerful, but it's also constant. I mean, as we know, we're always on some sort of wireless device all day. We're completely surrounded by them.
Yeah, my mind always goes to like my kids because I feel like as an adult, you take more risks and you're like, I'm okay. If something was off, I would know. But I'm thinking about, for me, my kids have iPads and we travel with them. And so that was the first thing that I wanted. And it was so easy to switch. Like I just shared a video. My kids all actually did it themselves. They were excited to get the package. They opened it up. They threw it in. And they love them. I actually think it makes it more durable because they're always tossing them. And like the case is just a little bit more like, okay, it's secure in there. But that's where my mind goes to when I think about this. Like if you're going to switch something, right, if you want to think about other people or like those risks, when you're saying that, I'm like, gosh, like that is sitting on my kid's body, and, or in the car, like you turn on the hot spot, like what does that even do to radiation? Like it's just all these unknowns. And to me, like Brooke said, it's just like a peace of mind thing. And something that you mentioned that I really want to talk about is the testing, because you can go on Amazon and you can type like EMF protective case. And because people know they need this, but they want the cheapest one, or they want one that's like, okay, well, this one says it too, and it's $20 less than SafeSleeve. I'll just snag it. So can you talk about what did your company have to do, and how is it different than maybe like something else we would find on Amazon?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked, because it's a space that, and you mentioned earlier, we're not trying to scare people here. That's very aligned with how we market our products as well. This is kind of akin to like maybe eating organic foods, right? It's not necessarily that it's the pesticides and things are going to kill you or they're going to cause cancer, but maybe you spend a little bit more, you're protected, you have that peace of mind, and you're reducing your exposure. So speaking to the other products, there are a lot of other products that do use the scare tactics, number one. So that already makes it hard to compete because we don't really want to go there. Um, both for ethical reasons and also just, yeah, morally, it doesn't feel right to try to scare people into getting our products, right? I just don't feel like that's a healthy relationship with our customer base. We want to build a healthy relationship. We want our customers to trust us. We want to bring them products that they want and they continue to want. We want to make them feel better, not worse. So there are a lot of products that use those scare tactics. I would say 99% of the products out there, unfortunately, are snake oil. I might get some flack for even mentioning this, but like stickers, pendants, for example, in our opinion, in our kind of analysis, the research we've looked at, they can spin it a million different ways to say that it's protecting you in a way that they can kind of test in a lab, but not really. But as engineers, myself and my partner, we just don't believe that that's an effective way of blocking this radiation. And I mean, if you think about it, even not as an engineer, it's not really intuitive. How can you put a sticker on your phone, like a hologram or something, that's going to reconfigure the radiation in a way that now it's harmless? I mean, it's not really intuitive. And some of them do have lab testing, and it's super complex, hard to understand. And ultimately, from what we've seen, doesn't really mean much. So, for us, I mentioned a couple times the dentist X-ray lead vest analogy. The intuitive part is, and this is one of our simplest products, our lap desk. You can see it's kind of blurred out, but anyway, you can see it on our website. But it's essentially just a pad, a tray or a shield, and it's maybe the most similar to the lead vest in the sense that it just is lined with our shielding material. You put this between you and your laptop. And then when it comes to the material that's in there, the shielding material, we tested in a third-party FCC accredited lab, and they essentially take a source, which is controlled, right? Which is like simulating your cell phone, your laptop, your tablet. It's a controlled source that's emitting the same frequencies that those devices emit. And then over here, you have a sensor or reader or meter that's telling you how much is coming from that source. So you emit, a 10 out of 10, and it's going to read a 10 out of 10. Then we do that as a control, slide the shielding material in between in a totally anechoic insulated room. And then we measure what is the meter picking up relative to what we're emitting from the device. So, and it blocks for radio frequencies, some of the higher frequencies, 99.9%. And as you go up in frequencies, the 5G frequencies and the future 5G frequencies, it actually gets more and more effective. And then those lower frequencies I mentioned, the power supply, the battery, it blocks 92% of that. So that is something that you won't find on I mentioned 99% of them are snake oil. They actually don't do anything, most of them. There are some that maybe only block the radio frequencies because, quite frankly, it's a lot easier and cheaper to block the radio frequencies. Those lower frequencies, equally as important, get very much ignored. And I'm sorry if I'm getting too in the weeds here, but most simply, like, you don't want to ignore those lower frequencies that are known as extremely low frequency ELF frequencies coming from your devices. And by the way, these frequencies that I'm referring to are the same thing that your microwave, the same frequencies, the same type of radiation that your microwave uses to cook your food. So I'll let you make of that what you will. But, speaking of intuitive, like, I don't really want that type of radiation that's cooking my food, like, in my pocket all day, unprotected, right? On my lap, like from these really powerful devices all day, every day. So yeah, that's kind of how our shielding works and how the testing works. That report from that third-party lab is available on our website, unedited, straight from the lab.
Yeah, I love how transparent it is. When I'm buying a product, that's my hard-earned money. Like, I want to know I'm investing in something that, yes, I believe in, but that there's research behind it, that it works. Right? On Amazon, yes, it's easy and you can just quick hit deliver and it's at your door in 3 minutes, but how do you actually know it's working? And so that's why Andrew and I, both of us, it's important to have this episode to really talk about, okay, are we getting what we're paying for? What is sold to us, or the marketing behind it? Like, is it real? And I think having the founder on talking about why this is so important, it makes me have more trust in what I'm spending my money in. So thank you.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I think, the stickers, it's so tempting. It's like I said about the organic food. It's on the label, you buy it, you feel better about yourself, and you don't really think about it because most of the time you're not going to feel something immediately, right? Just like organic food, there are probably some people who are very sensitive to certain preservatives. They can tell, they can feel it in the short term. They, it would probably be linked to things like brain fog. And I say preservatives, but there's other ingredients too that maybe they try to avoid from less clean, more processed foods. But for the most part, the people that are buying these higher end foods are concerned about sort of the more subtle, maybe longer term effects, and the more serious ones, like I said, causing cancer in the future and all sorts of other issues. So it's very tempting and very easy to slap a sticker on your phone and get that peace of mind and think you're covered for the long term, because ultimately it feels the same either way. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend just doing that little extra level of research. I know it's not easy in today's world. It's like so tempting to just click, click, click. It's at your doorstep and you're good. But that's my suggestion when it comes to, obviously, especially when it comes to your health and your kids' health.
Yeah. You mentioned microwaves, which just leads me down such a rabbit hole. I'm assuming you don't have a microwave in your house.
I do have a microwave.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a microwave. We don't use it often at all. We don't microwave anything for the kids. And when it is in use, my biggest thing is, and I'm glad you actually brought this up, because distance is your friend when it comes to EMF exposure. Especially what the studies show is that it's the more near field radiation exposure that causes the most problems. So things like power lines, for example, you're typically at what we would consider a safe distance. I'm not going to tell you that, is it better to not live right under the power lines or live under the power lines? I mean, the research says it's not a huge concern. Now, if those power lines were 5 feet from you, different story. And in the case of your laptop, maybe it's more like 1 foot, or your cell phone, maybe it's more like about a foot, maybe 2 feet. Microwave, I would say what I've seen with my testing in my own house with an EMF meter, 10 feet. I would try to stay about 10 feet away from the microwave when it's in
What about it cooking your food, though? Does that matter? Like, is it getting, I guess maybe this just shows that I need to do my research, but like, is it getting in your food and then you're eating it, like similar to plastic? Or is it more so just when the microwave's going, just stay away?
Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a good question.
We're coming at you with important information, warnings, and a solution. Sharing health and wellness gold with you is what we do. And so when we learned alarming information about devices that we routinely use, and we know you do too, we have to share it with you.
What most people don't realize is that the electronic devices we're using, cell phones, Wi-Fi, laptops, and Bluetooth, emit electromagnetic fields, or EMFs. The devices we're holding by our brains, on our skin, by our reproductive parts are emitting EMFs, and prolonged exposure to EMF radiation has been associated with potential health concerns, including neurological effects, impacts on reproductive health, and sleep disturbances.
Those studies alone are a cause for pause. But also, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, that operates under the World Health Organization, has classified non-ionizing EMFs produced by electronic products like cell phones, smart devices, and tablets a possible human carcinogen. Yikes.
And our solution? SafeSleeve. SafeSleeve anti-radiation products are designed to give you peace of mind of knowing you and your devices are protected while making your devices even easier to use. All of their anti-radiation products incorporate their lab-tested shielding technology that can block over 99% of RF and 92% of ELF radiation. And that's important because the vast majority of products that claim to block EMF radiation either don't have any testing at all, or they only block a small portion of the harmful frequencies.
We absolutely love the sleek look of these stylish products. They come in a variety of styles and colors. For our phone cases, I picked black, Andrea picked tan, and they include a built-in wallet with RFID protection and a magnetically detachable inner case. They're also anti-radiation products for tablets, iPad, and laptops.
We are pumped because we have been looking for a brand to help protect ourselves and our loved ones from this radiation for months. My kiddos have the iPad cases. Searching for a brand with stylish phone cases, colorful iPad colors, and functional headphones for our workouts, so that we can enjoy our devices, but also not have to worry about how they're harming us.
And without a doubt, it's time to protect ourselves. Grab your SafeSleeve phone case today and any of their other groundbreaking products at SafeSleeveCases.com and use our code GOLDIVY for 15% off. Keeping the flu and common cold out of your household is important whether you're 5, 35, or 95, and we're going to tell you the easiest and most delicious way to do just that. It's with All Things Elderberry, a woman-owned business that has all-natural, vegan-friendly, and gluten-free elderberry products.
And when we say products, we mean a variety of delicious and beautiful products, not just for you, but for your entire household to get an immunity boost. If we had to pick our favorite product, I'm going with organic elderberry gummies. My kids are obsessed. We're trying to avoid sickness from school and make sure they can participate in their sports, so they take one every morning before they brush their teeth. They think the gummies taste like a mix of grape and cotton candy. I tried them too, and I can see why they ask for them every day. I love that they're boosting their immune system at the start of their day.
My favorite All Things Elderberry product is the elderberry green tea paired with the elderberry honey. The green tea gives me a midday boost, and the honey gives the tea extra sweetness. I also put the honey in my morning coffee instead of creamer. So good. All Things Elderberry is my solution for staying healthy before traveling, avoiding frequent colds and sinus infections, really just maintaining my health all year round.
What sets this brand apart from the others is there are no artificial additives in All Things Elderberry. Their elixir is made with organic, Missouri-grown elderberries, raw honey, and whole spices.
Elderberries not only help with immune support, but may also slow the aging process with their powerful antioxidants, improve skin health, and can shorten the duration of severity of colds and flu.
Visit allthingselderberry.com to explore their full range of immune-supporting products. Stay healthy and feel your best naturally. Use our code GOLDIVY at checkout for 15% off your first order. That's code GOLDIVY at checkout for 15% off your first order.
From what I've seen in my research and how I operate, it's when it's cooking. It's when it's active. That's when it's flossing the food. Once it's done, I mean, I have heard the theories about, somehow it like absorbing the radiation. I'll say it's possible. I'm not like necessarily an expert on that, but for me, what's most important is while it's on, just keeping a distance.
Yeah. The other day, my daughter, so, it's summer, so they're home and she's 7 and she's so pumped that she can make popcorn now, like just literally hit the popcorn button. But then she was up on the counter next to the microwave watching it like less than a foot from it. And I was like, I know you're like loving this independence right now, and this is cool. You can kind of see the bag getting bigger.
But that is such just an easy thing to do, right? Like I'm thinking everyday things that we can do, little changes we can make that improve our health. What are your thoughts on
a wearable ring, like I'm not going to name names, or a
Watch.
watch. What are your thoughts on those products?
I don't love it.
Okay.
I don't love wireless headphones. You're just exposing yourself to more, especially in the case of a watch, more radio frequencies and more there's a power supply, there's a battery, there's a processor. So you're definitely exposing yourself to more. And again, it's that constant exposure. I will say this, it's on your wrist,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, granted, it's on your wrist, but you hold your arm near your chest, your stomach, in your pocket, whatever. So um, but as far as the wrist goes, it's a less vascular area. You're less susceptible, to like more serious types of diseases. But again, it's on your wrist most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But where's your wrist position? So, I mean, I don't wear. That's something I don't wear, and my wife doesn't wear wearables either. So, personally, not a huge fan. Does it compare to, having a laptop on your lap for 8+ hours a day? No. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just by the sheer raw power of the thing, the size of the receivers, like it's not going to compare in that sense. But it is still radio frequencies and, all the frequencies of EMF that we've talked about.
Yeah, something I think about too a lot is like for me with wearing watches, I only wear mine when I'm running, which my kids are like, why don't you wear it? You never know what time it is because you're never wearing your watch. But it's like if something is on your body that's not meant to be there all the time, like what is the negative impact, right? And it's just to create some awareness, right? Of like, okay, I don't know the long-term study of this. I don't know what this is doing to my health. If I do want to live for a long time, who doesn't? Like, let's just create a little bit of awareness. And I like what you said, just a little bit of space from it or a little bit less often. Something for me, I'm a long distance runner. So to think of having AirPods in my ears for 3 hours at a time, it's like, which I have had AirPods until just recently. I switched to the SafeSleeve headphones. The tricky part is people want the most convenient, like, I don't want to have to worry about a cord or I don't want to have to worry about a case on my phone. And I would just encourage you to like weigh the value a little bit of, not that these aren't like convenient to have, but a little change can go a long way with your health. And with the case, what I like is I hate carrying a purse and I freaking love going to Target with all my cards in my
Same.
case.
So like it is convenient.
It
That
is-
is my argument.
Yeah, there's pieces of it that is like the only thing that I feel like people, they're like, do I want a cord when I'm running? And I would say if you are a long distance runner, that is something really to think about. Like, do you really want this radiation for hours going next to your brain? Like, I've always felt a little weird about that in my gut. So I'm just appreciative that you are thinking of things like, you're holding your phone by your head for hours talking to someone or on a business call, or it's in your pocket. Like, that's a lot of exposure. So I think taking a small step of going to a website, purchasing something that you use all the time for hours, like it's just worth it. And if you haven't thought about it, like that's why we're bringing it to your attention. We're not trying to scare you. We just really want to make sure like you have options. And the option that you have is lab tested and someone that's a founder that has the education and is just here to really share the good news that, you've created something that's helping people. So I want to dig a little bit into you and your partner, like kind of diving into being an entrepreneur with something that is potentially saving lives. Like, how does that feel? Like doing all the business things, knowing like this is what you're protecting and this is what you're creating awareness about.
One thing I've learned through the years is this went from, and I've had other products too and other businesses that I've started. This went from I have this idea and I want to just try to make it a reality. It's something that feels important to me. I want to use it myself. I think that was the biggest thing, right? I'm like, why can't I just have this pad that I put under my laptop? Why can't it just be more functional than what I'm currently using? Why not? And why doesn't it already exist? So it went from that to the phase of getting from 0 to 1, making this, this thought into a reality, getting that first sale, watching it scale. Like for me, that's the 0 to 1 part. That's almost the easy part and the fun part. For that 1 to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, right, is a bit of a grind, and you better be passionate about what you're doing and you better feel good about what you're doing. And that's where it's really, it helped me want to make this a reality in the first place, but especially maybe the last 10 plus years since it became a reality and we've expanded the line, we've tried to reach more of a mass market. It definitely helps to really believe in what we're doing. I'm just not the type of person that could go on a podcast like this and talk about these things if I didn't believe in it. I'm sure there are some people who are, but after 10 years of it, I think no matter who you are, like it's going to weigh on you if you don't believe in what you're doing.
Yeah, totally. And just with the research you've done, I'm sure the things that you know and are hyper aware about while people are waiting to get their SafeSleeve products, what are some things maybe around the house, like the microwave, little things that they can do that you recommend just to help protect ourselves while we wait for these products?
Yeah, great question. So we've talked about distance. So the microwave's a great example. I'd call it about 10 feet. I've seen certain microwaves, maybe it's even a little bit more. So I hate to tell you to leave the room while your microwave's on, but I would recommend it. Andrea, you talked about, just the duration of exposure, right? As a long distance runner wearing your AirPods. If you're wearing AirPods for 10 minutes a day for a call here and there, obviously it's better not to, but is it 10 minutes or is it an hour or is it 5 hours, 10 hours? Obviously these things really add up over time. Your cell phone in your pocket, your cell phone anywhere near your body. How often do you talk with it up to your ear? Which people less and less talk with the cell phone up to their ear, but it's definitely in your pocket. It's probably more often than you think that you put it up to your ear. Laptop, definitely get it off your lap. And I think really those are the biggest things. The same thing with the tablet. Just remember distance is your friend for your kids, for yourself. So if you're going to use that laptop, go use it at a desk. And again, it's not the desk itself blocking the radiation. It's just the distance between your laptop and your body. And I think about 1 foot to 2 feet, depending on the device, both cell phone and laptop and tablet, is probably the minimum I would recommend while you're waiting for your SafeSleeve. And I think those are the big ones. People ask a lot about, sleeping with their phone next to their bed. Definitely something to think about. I think there's mental health implications there as well. So, try sleeping with it outside the room. Like you're going to potentially improve your sleep for multiple reasons. Wi-Fi, people ask about turning the Wi-Fi routers off at night. It can't hurt. Like I said earlier, we believe at SafeSleeve that it's more so that near field effect of things like, so if your router is within a couple feet of you, sure, get it out of there, turn it off. If it's in the garage, it's on the other side of the house, it's 30 feet away from the nearest human. We're constantly surrounded by those ambient far field levels of radiation. Again, is it something, if you want to be ultra safe, you could avoid, do better to shield your router, do better to turn it off at night? Absolutely. I don't think it's on top of the priority list for me and my family personally and for our customer base. I really think those are the biggest things in daily life.
Love those. Thank you. I love tangible tips. So do our listeners. So thank you. All right. Well, we want everybody to know where they can find you. Follow SafeSleeve to see how other people are using the products, how to get to the website, the easiest way to purchase their items. So can you tell everybody where to go and how to follow you guys?
Yeah, you're going to find our full selection of products on our website, SafeSleeveCases.com. You can Google it if you need to. That's where we have every single SKU that we offer. We do have some on Amazon, but you're always going to find the better deal and the full line on our website, SafeSleeveCases.com. And we'll provide a discount code for your listeners. We can put it maybe in the description or wherever works.
Love it.
Yep. We'll put all the links. So you have given us so many tips, but we have every guest share their top 3 takeaways. We call them our gold stars. So if you had to leave listeners with 3 big takeaways, could be tangible steps, could just be ideas, what would you like to share with them?
Buy SafeSleeve. No, I'm just kidding. No, number 1, I would say what we just talked about. This is, as with so many things in life, and it sounds like we are very aligned in our approach where it's about moderation. It's about reducing your exposure to whatever potentially harmful thing we're talking about, right? So moderation is key. Like if you're using those devices on you constantly, you're constantly in the kitchen while the microwave is on and your kids are nearby it. Just be mindful of that. You got the AirPods in all the time. Which, by the way, speaking of AirPods, I didn't mention this earlier, but I have like from my headphones that were similar design that I used to use, it messed up my ear, like physically. So there's another reason to use the
Okay.
SafeSleeve, which wraps around your ear. Um, so that would be my first thing, moderation. Number two, I would say don't ignore this. Don't be scared. Don't think about it constantly. Don't stress out. There's plenty of things to, stress about in your life and fear what's going to kill you, as we mentioned earlier. Um, but I wouldn't fully ignore it either. It's not something you see, feel, that none of your senses tell you that you're being exposed to this radiation. Although we do have a lot of customers who feel they can really know when they're near a device and it throws off their equilibrium. But don't fully ignore it. Take a few minutes to just look at the research that's out there, decide for yourself. When it comes to buying a product or any sort of solution, take the time to look into the studies. Don't just judge the products off price, because there are businesses who have figured that out and they charge a lot for a little because they know you're going to judge them based off their price. This doesn't need to be something that drastically impacts the functionality and the practicality of your devices and the way you use your devices. We know, I'm sure your listeners know, the technology is just a huge part of our life now. It's something that can't be avoided, but as with everything, you can practice a little bit smarter, safer use to just help you in the short term, help you in the long term. And that goes even beyond, using physical products to protect you from the radiation and practicing these things to protect you from radiation. There's mental health concerns too. I don't think there's anything controversial about that. So just be a little bit mindful about just the general effects that these devices can have on you and your family.
Yeah, I love that you bring up the mental health piece because, when I think about radiation, and I don't have kids yet, and so it is more like, okay, I'm taking action on maybe something down the road. I'm kind of being cautious that way. But what I have found with these products is they have helped my mental health. The cover on the phone, I look at my phone a lot less. Wearing my Apple Watch less now that I know more about this EMF. It's not constantly bugging or pinging and sending me messages. Same thing with the laptop case. Like it feels better. And I've noticed those mental health benefits. So I just want to call that out, that it's kind of like just an added perk that maybe you don't initially think, but I have noticed a big difference.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love those gold stars too, especially too, like this isn't something you're seeing, right? It is invisible. And so I love that we're creating awareness around this thing. All right, so next up is surprise questions, unleashing Ivy. Just dig a little deeper. I can relate so much about like your mission, you and your business partner, on knowing something's good for people. And it feels good to put something in the world of your business where you're helping people feel better. So my question is around like you being out in the world, the wilderness with people, and like seeing them with their AirPods on the plane, like seeing people doing these things. Like, how do you control yourself of not wanting to tell everybody about SafeSleeve and like get in their face and like tell them why you need to switch to their product? Like, do you struggle with that at all? Kind of wanting to tell more people while you're kind of out and about?
That's a good question. I think I did when I was first starting the brand. And that was partly, not to be preachy, more so to understand people, their concerns, their reservations. Are they aware of this issue? How concerned are they? Over the years, I mean, I'd be getting in too many, I'd have too many conversations with strangers, too many probably, I'd probably annoy some people by calling them out on this other thing that might kill them. So I think my outlet is just in the digital world. We sell our products almost entirely online. So we are constantly looking for new audiences, like maybe your listeners that are already open to this idea. They're looking for suggestion rather than, it's kind of a pull marketing system. We're pulling the people in that, and that are already looking for something along these lines, or they don't even know they are yet, but it's right in their wheelhouse, rather than constantly pushing it out to people.
Yeah, which I think is very smart. I want to know what you're most excited about, maybe upcoming products that are in the works or just future SafeSleeve things that excite you right now.
It's a great question. Well, we actually recently brought on a third partner. So this was bootstrapped by myself and my co-founder, Alay. We, came up with the idea together in college and developed this thing from the ground up together, and we still work together and co-operate the business. We brought in an outside partner, which is a huge deal for us. He's someone who's just very aligned with our views, our ethos. He believes in the product. He had ordered 20 times before we even talked to him. And he's someone that is just so good at connecting with people from a marketing perspective. He understands the audience. He understands what they want. He knows how to reach them, how to message to them, to really convey what's important. And everything he's ever touched has one common thread, at least, other than being mostly successful. It's integrity. So he's selling things that he really believes in. He's selling things to people and being transparent about it, and wants to genuinely wants to improve their lives with their product. So it's a win-win scenario. You give me your money and I give you something that's worth more than that money to you. And that we can now use that money to reach an even wider audience and help them hopefully accomplish the same thing. So, I think that's the biggest thing we're really, really excited about. And as part of that, you've noticed, some of our returning customers will notice there's a brand refresh that we just launched. Again, just thinking more in through the lens of like, what does our customer really want? As part of that, we'll definitely be, as always, releasing new colorways, new styles. We're surveying our customers more. And I think big changes coming. We're constantly going to maintain our bread and butter and what people love about our brand. But between the brand refresh and coming out with new products, one of them being our privacy pouches, or privacy and security pouches, which similar sandbox, a little bit different. It does block the radio frequencies. It doesn't block those lower frequencies. So it's semi-effective when it comes to shielding you for radiation, from the radiation, but it doesn't shield that full spectrum. What it's really designed for is a cybersecurity product. It takes you completely off the grid. So a lot of people don't know this. Even when your phone's off, it's still traceable. And by traceable, I mean not just traceable by, the bad guys coming to find you or whatever, but it's still active and can, for example, your RFID, your credit cards can still be kind of given out even if your phone's off. So This product is a pouch. You put your phone in. We have different sizes for tablets and all sorts of different devices, even a key fob, which is something that a lot of people don't know this too. Someone can actually use a scanner, scan your key fob, steal the code, and use that to steal your car.
Creepy.
Yeah. And so we have devices for that, and we're going to continue expanding on that. One of them, which is really cool, is like a fanny pack. We call it a strap pack.
Yes.
You can wear it cross body. You can wear it around your waist. You can wear it however you want, and it operates like a normal fanny pack, or whatever we call them. And but there's an inner pouch where you can put your phone and your key fob and your credit cards, and that's the Faraday cage, which it's called, which takes it completely off the grid and unscannable.
That's exciting stuff.
Oh, I need
good
one of those,
question,
Cary. That's good.
We like hearing about new products and exciting stuff. But this has been so fun to talk through all this. We do have one more question, but I think it's awesome when you get a product and you love it, but it's so rewarding to hear not only the research behind it, the testing behind it, but then the founder's heart behind it, and knowing how excited you are about this new partner coming in and their qualities that you like just speaks to a reflection of you, of what you value. You value integrity. You value getting these products in hands so people can protect themselves, and you're not trying to scare people. And so I'm just so grateful that we found you, and we've been wanting to have someone on to talk through this. And I feel like you explained everything in such a tangible, graspable way. So I'm just so grateful, Cary, that you came on and shared things the way that you did for our listeners, because that's what we were really hoping to find. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you both.
Yeah. And last question is a little bit deeper. You can go anywhere you want with this one. This could be professional, personal, anything. You just take it and run with it. But we always like to ask our guests, if you could go back and tell your younger self, younger Cary, something, what age would you go back to and what would you tell him?
So I think if I could go back and tell my younger self anything, it would probably be right around middle of college when I kind of came up with the idea for SafeSleeve. And I really considered a couple things. Dropping out of college, I could do this on my own. I don't need college. I considered, okay, I'll get my degree and then I'll fling myself in full time to building a business. I'll go get a full-time job and work on this on the side. And it ended up being, well, other than dropping out, I did kind of stick it out. It ended up being somewhere in between where I got somewhat of a full-time job that gave me some flexibility and I was able to build my business on the side. And I would tell myself, because there were many, many, many times of questioning, and ultimately I decided to stick it through. But I would give myself a little bit of extra encouragement that, if you can afford it while you have the flexibility, and by afford it, I don't just mean financially, but obviously that's a huge part of it. But, if you have the flexibility, I was fortunate enough, I moved back home. My parents were super supportive and, I get along with them really well. But I would just encourage myself to stick with it. And, which is ultimately what I ended up doing. But I would probably save myself a lot of stress and anxiety that I dealt with, trying to figure my life out. When you're in your early 20s, I mean, like I said, if you can, and you're as fortunate as I was to move back home, or, you have some other stream of income and you have the flexibility, that's the time. That's the time to go in. Like, you want to party, you still feel like a college kid at heart, but get yourself set up for a little bit later. You got a lot of years of life left, hopefully, and really, I think that's the time to get after it.
Oh, I love that. It just speaks that you have something, an idea, you believe in it, and you do what you need to do to make it happen. And right, life gets lifey and things are going to get thrown your way, but when you have that deep belief in an idea, in a product, I mean, it will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you again for your time, for your products. Super excited just to get more SafeSleeve in my house. So thank you. All these ideas. I don't need to get rid of my microwave, which I'm very happy to hear about. But we leave our listeners with a piece of gold, a quote that speaks to you. Would you please share yours with our audience?
This is a bit cliche today because I feel like, stoicism is just kind of it's all the rage. But I really do believe that amor fati, like just love your fate. Whatever is in store for you. I don't care if you're religious or not, or spiritual or not, whether God has the plan for you, the universe has a plan for you. Whatever journey you're on, trust it, trust your heart, follow it. Bit corny, a bit cliche, but I truly try to live by that. It's easier said than done. But I feel like if you're constantly looking for the good and trusting yourself and trusting your path, it's always going to work out for you.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold. We want to thank you and encourage you to celebrate yourself for taking the time to learn and get inspired in your one beautiful life. And if this podcast means something to you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take 30 seconds to help support our mission to keep bringing you inspiring stories and guests.
First, following the podcast is important because it helps you never miss an episode. To do this, just go to the Ivy Unleashed podcast show page on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then just tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click on follow.
While you're there, if you'd be so kind to give us a 5-star rating and review and share your favorite episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful for your support.
We are thrilled you're here and are so happy that you're taking time to prioritize your wellness, self-discovery, and growth with us. Additionally, we want to remind you that this podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We are not licensed therapists, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals.